now to Rhoda. Rhoda and Pene, her birthday is coming up 23rd of May. So happy birthday in advance from the entire Twin Music family, okay? Going out to you. Now, before we jump into the convo, and I know you are itching to find out what's on the table this morning, let me tell you that Hollywood, Bollywood, and Nollywood and quality Ghanaian movies, guess what? Are coming alive on the big screens at the Silverbird Cinemas. So get the very best entertainment you deserve. Create and share amazing moments as well with the ones you truly love. With the movie treat at the Silverbird Cinemas, West Hills Mall, and Accra Mall. Now, guess what's showing? John Wick Part 4, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Creed Part 3, A Taste of Sin, Air, Renfield, The Pope's Exorcist. All these are showing. You can go onto their website. It's silverbirdcinemas.com/West Hills, or just add /Accra. And also for the showing times, you can call 0544 310 140 or 0593 997 086. Yes, to access all the movies live at the Silverbird Cinemas. Now, this morning, I'm in dancing mood. So we played the songs earlier on coming out from the man Bisakede featuring Camido. I love that jam. Sick, crazy. And then we play, the title is Complete Man. I love the song. It's so sweet, you know. It makes you want to relive Valentine's Day again, like I did on Team Yama. But it's all good though. And then we jumped to Gwagwalada. He was in the studio a couple of weeks back. Buju, FK Benson. FK Buju Asemu. He was in the studio a couple of weeks back. Had a great conversation with him as well. And Fields were jumping to that Electricity song. He was also in town. Now, you see, it's all about dance, right? You see what dance can do to you. We've been dancing since Ajit Sowa's time. You know that. Yeah, we've been. I know, right? Serial. But let me do this well. Now, this morning we want to be talking about. This morning we want to be talking about exploring the impact of Ghanaian dance challenges on promoting Ghanaian music abroad. You do recall what happened with Fuse ODJ and Azones when he came to Ghana, right? You understand? Yeah, he did this thing for the UK as well. But we want to explore this and what dance has done to the world, the culture of Ghanaian dance challenges. Now, this morning, we are honored to have this man. I'm going to read all the accolades for you. I'm going to read all the titles and all the achievements to you this morning. So, let me take number one. Please, when I say number one, you clap. First Ghanaian to headline major stage production in the US. One. Number two, co-wrote and was A&R for a song on All American. Big deal. All American Homecoming, a huge TV... it was show on Netflix, right? Yeah. Please, the clap was small. They say we need to speak for what we have, right? Yes. Number three, done 3 college tours since 2019. Let's add it to this one. Number four, the first Ghanaian artist to have a song featured on a Russian television, specifically on their biggest dance competition. Well, there's proof to that. We'll show you. Number 5, first Ghanaian to have a song featured on Romania's Got Talent in Romania. True. Charlie.
That's to change his name to First Ghanaian.
Soldier boy.
Number 6, performed at the Barclays Center in New York, in Brooklyn, New York. Guest artist for Stonebwoy, Kwesiata, Kim Promise, and Tenny All in New York City. Mako Dance Challenge peaked on Shazam in Ghana and had about 1 million plus plays on TikTok in its first month of release. Ladies and gentlemen, artist, manager, DWP rep all the way in the US. Join us this morning. The man K. Williams is here with us. Woo! You do all. We finished the interview. We've said all the things.
Yapo, anything you want to say?
God bless you all. God bless you all.
Ole, take us through that. Let's start this off.
Yeah, so basically, we talking about dance challenges. I think it's become a thing of late. It's what is in vogue. Like you rightly said, since the days of Ajete Sowa to Slim Basta to even Sonny Achiba,
we forget Madamo.
Hey,
who that?
Akusia, Ejipon.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Legendary.
Now we've realized that with the advent of social media, dance challenges have become that vehicle to activate music in various markets. So I think during COVID, when we were locked down, there was
dancing by heart in our houses.
There was this challenges that people were doing.
Sanitizer smelling.
I will never forget the red silhouette challenge.
Before you talk about the red silhouette, I would like to officially put it out there that confess if you know you dance in front of your mirror and you know B, and you deleted that video, bring it out.
Oh yeah, you never see the video, but when I watched it,
basically we are looking at how all of this has influenced global reach for music in general, but especially for Ghanaian music. Once upon a time, Azonto it was actually a dance. It wasn't a dance challenge. It was a type of dance. We had Al Qaeda. We had what do you call it?
Charlie, I could never do Azonto. Okay, I tried, man. I tried.
We had Shaku. We had your boy.
For those of you who are like strong and heavy in the hip hop culture, it wasn't the easiest transition.
It wasn't Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
Your powers combined.
Thank you.
Recently I read that Yahooze actually had a dance choreography, some sort of routine. I didn't even remember that. Yahoo! I never knew we had. So we've had dance challenges or dance routines come in and out. But today we want to look at how it has really, really impacted the Ghanaian music and the Ghanaian music culture in abroad, in the diaspora, because we're always dancing. I think we are arguably one of the best people when it comes to dance in this world. 100%. Followed by
Congolese.
Followed by the Congolese.
I think I'll give it to South Africa.
It's a battle, actually. It's between Ghana and South Africa. In my opinion. It's a battle. But
I'm just being biased, So before we get into the conversation proper, for those of you who are not too sure of what we are talking about, we just want to show you some of the dance challenges that, obviously without the sound because of copyright issues, you could see some of the dance challenges that we've seen in time past. We've had a lot of ambassadors like Yofi Green, a Ghanaian dancer who traveled, I think to China, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's Yofi. Yeah, so now this is Russia.
Charlie, their cold pass.
You get me.
Impacting shit like that.
And he was actually doing Azonto moves in there as well. So Nita says that's Genia from St. Teresa's. But we're talking about ambassadors who have actually left the shores of Ghana, went into these places, Russia, Switzerland, Sweden, France, Italy, a whole lot, of markets, and just, activating music and getting, white folks to dance such moves, on a normal day you see white
because I mean yes, they arrest blacks for all those crime and all, but then white and dancing there is like oil and water.
Right?
It doesn't make so when you see white people getting their dance moves right, especially dancing, taking on African moves. It's beautiful.
I forgot the name of the lady, the big lady, the white lady. She's on Instagram.
Is it Ellen?
She's big.
Dancing with Yofi or
no.
just by herself.
Yeah.
I think I've seen.
She goes country by country. Yeah, I've seen who you're talking about. The name has just left my head.
Yeah. So basically, we are just looking at how, because this is Azonto in Russia. We are just looking at how all these dance challenges. We've always talked about the fact that Ghanaians need to activate their music. We need to do this, we need to do that. But we are overlooking the impact of how these dance challenges have.
Hold on with the impact once again. Why you see the clouds for Abrochi they be different?
Abrochi be filtered.
So this is DWP, obviously, one of the notable dance groups, in this country, produced the likes of Afronita, Endurance, Rowley, Champion Rowley, a whole lot of people, So we decided to bring one of their presidents, representing us in the diaspora to really find out what is really the market like out there, and how come we haven't been able to use our dance challenges to activate our music even further to make it a global sensation since Azonto did that for us. So basically that's why we are here.
Well, yes, with that brief shared, so Kay Williams is live in the studio. Let me ask you, Kay, so how and why did you establish DW in America? What did you identify in there? Because for Africa and Ghana, back home here, the culture was very strong.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm excited to be here. I'm even seeing what you guys are doing so far. Seeing you guys really have your eyes on the ground.
Yeah.
Even to bring up Yofi. It's a very important thing. that we know that music and dance always go hand in hand, right? So I started doing music. I was dropping Afro soul hits, and then I was like, yo, my music isn't going anywhere. So Quabbles, who's the CEO and our manager here in Ghana, was like, you know what, just drop one song and I'll feature you. I'll let you feature the Dance Academy here. And that song blew up. That's the song that actually showed up on Romania's Got Talent. It just blew up. I didn't have to market. I was broke when I was actually in college. I was a broke college kid. And like that song blew up. It was everywhere. And I was like, wow, what's this? So I was like, you know what, let me put aside the Afro soul and do more dance music. So I featured this other guy. His name is Huli Boy. We did a song called Huli. We launched it. Now, he was actually a brand ambassador for Black Pyramid, Chris Brown's clothes. So they shot a video in their clothing line. And Chris Brown at that time was posting only people who danced to his music in the clothing line. And then for the first time, he posted my song with Africans dancing in his clothes. So it was like everything was just picking up like that. And I was like, there's something about the dance industry, especially here in America. So I spoke to Quabbles and he's like, look, we actually need somebody to man a team over there for us because we see there's an increase in demand. Africans started coming for tours there. They were always asking for dancers. So we were just there to meet supply the needs. That's all.
Wow.
That's how I started.
It's quite interesting how it looked like then dance was just lurking in the background quietly, and so this now became a business approach for you to activate, to help activate the dance.
Yes. So it became a whole business thing. So I even had to slow down the music and focus on it, like, start up an LLC, see how we can get contracts, sign these dancers, have classes. And with the help of our coach, Showtime, who's also doing very well over there in the United States.
What do you think is the reason why dance, has become a big culture now, generally? I mean, we can speak for us within Africa, but what do you think is the reason why dance has become so, I don't know whether to say, yes, dance, you move when you hear music, but it's now like you just can't move without hearing music. It's gone to a space now where people, because I mean, like I say, hip-hop, it was all fashion. It was more, you listen to hip-hop music, you're thinking fashion. You listen to pop music, you're thinking, even there was also fashion in there at the point in time. There was a certain culture, but dance wasn't really in there. Do you have an idea why you think now it's become a craze?
So like you said earlier, it had always been lurking behind. So for example, if we go back to same hip-hop, but Soulja Boy, he had this Superman thing go along. It made it viral. Then there was Now Watch Me Whip. Now Watch Me Nene. Exactly. That also came. So even in hip-hop, you could see it, but it was very sporadic. America, hip-hop is not about dance. It's like we're telling you our story, telling you, all those things we have to tell you. But for
have we lost you already? You say you made Ghana.
Sorry, what they have to tell you? I go chair too much.
Ghana, if you make out for them, no, then we will give you.
I left here now. I get some serious interview before Yakisa for save my English. No, man. I still Ghana chair too much. The 10 is the thing.
I know. No, it's good.
So that was it. But I'll say with the help of technology, right, and the increasingly growing, let me say, wave of Afrobeats, I'll say it's the fastest growing genre in America right now. It's really, really caused that demand. Okay, they had these dancers who were already creating videos on Vine and all of that, and then they came TikTok, with Instagram and all of that, posting reels. So that's when it started getting there, and people were getting famous out of that. And for some people, that's really why they would get into that. It's just to get famous or to build a brand. And so that's how it all got in. And there's been people there who've been establishing stuff. And also, I'll say Azonto helped a lot with this. Azonto taking over the world brought a lot of African dancers and dance moves outside. So Nigerians also came up with a lingo and all those. It's trying as much as possible.
Okay, so one sec. I haven't been to America since 2016 or 2017.
Yeah.
But when we watch movies, when we watch music videos, the dance culture, even in hip hop, has been there for a very long time. I mean, you see the music videos and all them Chris Browns, even Asher Raymond, and let's dig back to all those artists. They were dancing. But I want to ask about how. I don't want to say competition, but the impact of Afrobeat as compared to the original dance culture of the hip hop music and how do we dance into it?
Yeah.
How are these two? Are they competing? Are they merging? Are they? I don't know, just in your personal opinion?
So I'll start from saying I see a lot of respect for Afro dance because a lot of the dancers there, they realize that this thing is not easy. They wouldn't even dare do some things. But you will find some Caribbean dancers, Latino dancers trying some of the moves because there's some similarities. Hip-hop dance is a lot of breaks and locks. But Afrobeats, you are going through like, you're flowing and all. So it's not very easy for some of them to transition, right? But like I said, it's a lot of respect. Like if you talk about some of them, like there's Sarah Styles, there's Holy Boy, there's Ghana Boy. Those main dancers, or even Beyonce's Papi Ojo, the one who danced with her already, they are very respected out there in the United States. And when it comes to like they're having a class, we have hip hop dancers come and learn from them. It's not competing necessarily, but I believe that with the rise of the genre itself, these people are taking the forefront, getting us forward.
So then what opportunity do we have with dance to penetrate, use dance to penetrate, such markets like this? Because it's beautiful to hear Romania, Russia and all. What opportunities lies before us then?
So, so for example, Yofi and I had a discussion a couple of days ago about Azonto and how Ghanaians have just let it go.
Charlie.
Because he said when he went there to Russia, and, he saw it when my song, like, peaked over there. When he went there, he was like, Charlie, the thing is big here. They actually want me to stay and like be teaching classes. Like, how we have like Zumba. Zumba, all those things. Like, there's a Zumba class for fitness. Like, there could be an Afro dance class for fitness. And imagine you have that program or package where people are paying like monthly subscription just come and learn Afrobeat, and for them it's a workout. Like, there's so many opportunities that Azonto alone is presenting to some of them out there. Not to bring out their secrets or their plans, but like there's just so many reasons why they are going to be going back to Russia and other European countries. And I believe that Ghanaians, if we should own our stuff and not necessarily let it go and call it old school, we could actually find somewhere else that needs it and sell it to them. And whoever benefits.
Do you think we grew too fast? Sorry, Lenny. Do you think we grew too fast away from the Azonto?
I think we did.
And was it wrong for us to have grown so fast?
I think we did. I think we did. Maybe we held on to it like in a certain. I don't know. Maybe we didn't define it as it should have been, right? And we made it a main thing because it was our main rapper who started the move with another rapper. Like with that song, You Will Kill Me and all those things. I don't know, but I think we let it go too early too.
I also think, sorry, Len, do you want to say something quickly?
Yeah, he mentioned, not growing it enough, protecting, championing and pushing it, right? You mentioned a few names, right? Now, with all of these names that you've mentioned, with all of these people, how are you coming together? Well, in the diaspora, because in Ghana, DWP is doing it. Afrozig, is also doing it. But out there, right, how are you guys coming together to make sure you're pushing, a particular narrative so that then if you mention some Ghanaian artists, well, Ghana is identified with these genres, that, okay, if it comes to Azonto or if it comes to maybe an Afro fusion sort of dance, it is, these group of guys.
Okay, so that's a good question. It's very competitive there between the Afro dancers in the United States. But at the same time, they are very close. We're talking about Rihanna hitting up some of them to come dance with her on stage. And there was a time she hit the Guara on stage.
Yeah.
There were 2 African dancers there that I personally know who were with her.
This is Super Bowl stage?
No, that's some other time. Yeah, that's way back.
Sharp.
I know, right? Janet Jackson also had a production and involved Afrobeat dancers, and also Tiana Taylor. Like, even if you see Beyonce is on her tour recently playing Tem's song as well. Like, they do all those things, like, because they realize that Afrobeat is the next big thing, right? And everybody's trying to get a little bit of Afro in. As to how long that will last, I don't know. But for us, what we're doing is, I see that these dancers work together. They get a contract, they call the other dancers to come work with them. This one gets a contract, calls the other one. For us, DWP USA, what we're trying to do is to be that one-stop shop, right? When, like, for example, most of the artists you mentioned earlier, Kim Promise, Stonebwoy, Kwesi Arthur, whenever they come out there and they need dancers, they at least know there's a Ghanaian Academy here that could really, like, hit them up. But it's so easy for them. They just need to contact me, and then we set things up, have a couple of rehearsals, and then they're on stage with them. And this is really, like, an interesting market. It's bringing a lot of people in. Right now, what's happening now is a lot of these parties, these day parties, like everyday people, what they do is they'll have a couple of dancers with them to turn up the place. So you see how there's this culture of everybody's on their phones at parties. Now, yeah, exactly. And so you see people actually dancing. And these are professional dancers then everybody's excited. and then just start
Ginger.
dancing. So that's like the way they are going now. And those are smart ways people are trying to, push the dance industry there. Yeah.
I mean, I was just wondering what the future looked like for the dance community in the diaspora. We've seen a lot of foreigners come into the country for this main reason. It's because we've heard that there's a new dance challenge or there's a new dance routine. We want to touch base with the locals here and actually learn. There are some foreigners in Legon who are actually taking dance classes. Yeah, you get me. So I'm looking at how it moves from just being something that is driven by a passion and tapped into our tourism better. Because there's a lot of cross-cultural, relationship going on.
Okay, so please, before you come, this is a long discussion. But just before that question, I want to ask you this, and then see how we can fuse it to this. So we blame ourselves in Ghana partly that we let go of Azonto and all these Alingo and things. Well, not even Alingo, Al Qaeda and go so quickly without even realizing it. We let it go. Is it likely that such a thing would happen to you in the diaspora?
I doubt it.
And why? And how are you going to preserve it?
Okay, so a lot of us Africans, first of all, in America, that I know of, and even in Europe, we're moved by nostalgia a lot, right? So if you see, we celebrate 6th March more than Ghanaians in Ghana.
Facts.
We're hyped, because it's all about identity for us. So right now, if you go to, say, the Bronx, Tracy Towers, you go and walk past, you'll be hearing some old Azonto songs playing, loud in the hallways, because that's what reminds us of home, right? A lot of these now we almost sound like Nigerians, and they almost sound like us. Everybody's going to my piano and everything happening, right? Yeah, that's the lady right there. So
my name is her name is Casey Rondo.
Yeah, Casey. Yeah, she actually had a baby recently.
Yeah, I saw it on there. I follow her closely.
With a little African
Listen, she's all the vibes.
She's really
they love I'm dying.
Really
She lights up my whole day, Charlie.
And you wouldn't believe it, for a person of her stature and all of that, that's huge for her in her country. So that's Dance God Lloyd, our very senior coach who started DWP with us. So yeah, it's all about that. Right now there's Asians who are mastering Afrobeats, and I'm telling you, when Russians, Russia educate. I mean, dance is a major part of their education. There's this girl called Vladisara. Yeah. Vladisara dances like a Labadi girl. Seriously, she came to studio right now one day, and everybody was shocked. The girl did dirty himself for the studio inside. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of Asian guys. Asians, when they got hip hop dance, what they did to it. And now there's the same thing for Afrobeat. So we have to be nerdy about our stuff. To us, it comes too natural, so we're not very intuitive, and we're not thinking about we're not using
how to secure it.
Exactly,
we're not.
It's just like how we had so much gold on the ground and we didn't know what to do with it. Same thing.
Ooh, the shade.
I'm watching. I'm watching what you're doing. They go collect from the people always.
Seriously, for example, this is how you know the difference. An African is dancing, like a regular African kid is dancing, doing all the Azonto moves. He doesn't even know the names of the dance moves. But if you ask the UK kid or the Russian kid,
structured.
They've structured and they'll tell you the name, where it's from, and all of that.
Wow.
Because they actually researched it. So I was telling this girl to start up, her little thing in the UK. And she's like, William, here they'll ask me what's the name of this dance move. I can do it, but I don't know where it's from. So I have to go and do my research.
Wow.
So we have to be more scholastic, let me say, about it. Make sure we can teach it and not make it something that's just natural, because that's how it's going to go. But if we have records, we can tell the story, the history. This is where this comes from. This is who did this. This is the, let me say, the partner. So a lot of these dancers have their traditional dances they match with. So this is where this comes from, or this is what inspires this. And then that's what's going to make us when we're nerdy about what we're doing, it's easier.
So you're saying that just like the way we have the Adowa, the Kete, the Palogo, all these things documented for the contemporary dance moves that we are more or less creating originally, we need to document, their backgrounds and their history so that we will not have to worry about culture vultures.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's what I'm seeing. Nobody can dance Kete better than us. Nobody can dance Adowa better than. Nobody can dance Bobo better than us. Yeah. And when you look into history,
Yet.
Well, but we still got it.
Brother.
We got the raw materials, bro.
Yet.
You get me?
It's so funny that two people who can't dance are just talking about how they got it.
How they move, oh. Don't get it twisted. Hey, don't let that do. Hey.
Yeah, so I think
If I come studio, we're going to officially invite you on one day to dance class. No, seriously. Let's do it. We're going to invite you all to the please battle it out there. I actually want to say, I'll talk to Pabos. We'll get you a whole team there.
We have space for the views because my video, the views.
Hey,
we have space for the views.
We got you. No, seriously.
What is it?
Seriously. We'll have Afronita, everybody stand, support you guys. We'll have a viral
I'm looking
video.
forward to that.
Charlie,
No, I'm serious. We'll talk about it. I really think it's a good idea. You guys
Things are going to happen. The president himself will take our citizenship away from us. He'll take it away from us. Okay, so now it feeds into the conversation about tourism, you know, and how we can use dance, because it's not even how we can use it, how we can understand that this can become something with regards to tourism, you know, for us to open us to a wider market, because we sit here in Ghana and of course without much knowledge of how important it is to the diaspora. We take it for granted, you know. Of course, it's in our home. It's abundant, like you say. It's gold. It's here. We see plenty, you know. But for you out there, it is a big deal. I don't know how. So then, Ole, did that plays into your question on the tourism?
Because
I don't know how you want to put this.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I've had several conversations with K. William in time past, and one of the things that he said that has still left like a lasting memory in my head was because a dance like Azonto made him feel proud to walk on the streets of America as Ghanaian in a time where it was chaotic to be a black man in college. It was like there was no cool factor in being a black man in college, but Azonto more or less broke that jinx, you know. And as soon as they notice that you are Ghanaian, the conversation that comes up is Azonto, which is like one of the greatest PR for your country. It's like the way every foreigner or every outsider from Ghana who watches football sees a Ghanaian, the first thing they think about is Asamoah.
Yeah. Okay, so
did you get what I'm saying?
So if I was to give you the chance to name maybe 3 major strategies or assets we can create from dance that can help us be able to create, you know, like, I don't know, expand this. What comes into mind? If you had funding and all the networks and the support and the logistics, what assets would you want to create out of this?
So more dance studios or like facilities, right? So there's in New York City, there's and specifically in Manhattan, there's this place called Ripley Greer Studios. It's a huge story building filled with dance studios. Oh, wow. Right. And people go rent it out. So you're a dancer, you don't have to worry about having a dance studio for yourself. You just go you rent it out, make your money from it, you start building up from there. We need more of those around.
I can imagine, like, you know, I've always thought, now you're saying, sorry to cut you, that's one, but I was just thinking about the fact that, dance, we just get a room, but I'm not thinking that if there was a place well-built, designed with backgrounds, lights,
with the mirror, with
mirrors
the
and all those things, you can film your...
We don't even have that much in
You can
Ghana.
imagine.
Matter of fact, the DWP guys, and I don't know about any other dance groups, but they actually dance at Pulse Fitness.
Yeah.
You know, Pulse Fitness is a gym. You know,
and they have the aerobic space.
So they have the aerobic space. So we don't actually have a dance studio like, government has thought of, okay, we've seen this thing.
Oh, you've got fun. This one, the tourist government.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying. No,
but he's right, though.
Some of these things, we like to turn a blind eye to it, because you see, back in school, we used to be taught music and dance.
And I'm just teasing. Yeah, it's true.
We used to be taught music and dance. These days, it's not even in our distance anymore.
Yeah.
You get me? And even that one, you learn something about Dowa, you learn something about Kete. But now that we've seen that there are new dance moves coming, and
Charlie,
Zonto has
imagine
now,
if it became like we brought it back now,
So why should they school inside? No, Charlie, you are learning about the history of Azonto. You are learning about the history of Al Qaeda. You are learning about the history of these new ones that are coming up. So that when you get
it used to be in the school curriculum.
That's what I'm saying. That now it's not there. Any hobby.
Yeah, because
let's confirm when
it's
not there. School at check.
It's because I have brothers and sisters.
Sweetheart,
call your niece.
it's about the value chain. When it was in our education system, when you're done with education, there was nothing for you to do with it. So it was considered redundant.
Yeah.
Like, why are we teaching kids about Adowa and Agbaja when he's going to become an accountant? And that's where everybody wants to be.
Yeah.
So what's the use? Why are we wasting time paying teachers, scheduling a curriculum and a school schedule to teach 2 hours of dance a week or whatever, when the moment they are done, it's useless? So I don't think it needs to start from the the school. I think it needs to start from those who are actively making headway with dance now in the real world.
Yeah, but see, not to catch you, right? And
But
like
you
I
got
said, it goes back to the times we were living in. It goes back to the times we were living in. Truthfully, during that period, during that time, I mean, in an African home, you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or a disappointment. These three things. You can't be any of these things.
And we are all disappointments.
We are all-
At this point.
We are all
At this point.
me, I wanted to be an accountant. Alpha.
1 plus 1, yeah.
25.
Yeah, that's
21.
You get me? So the
It's
times,
idiot.
so the times that we're living, obviously, the dance wasn't really the focus. But we can now see
What I'm saying
when
is,
Beyonce was coming to Ghana
yeah,
to have her African album shot, right? And Ghana was part of it. Who did they call? They called Dance God Lloyd, right?
Yes.
So we can see the value.
That's what I'm saying.
Now we can see. Before we couldn't see. Now we
you
can
are in
see.
the-
So what are
you
we
are-
doing to
you are-
supplement
You
it?
are in the space to see the value without having to be conditioned. But it will shock you that there are people at the education ministry or blah 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 who still don't understand the in-depth business, the commerce that comes with dance. They know, hey, to see their TikTok now foul. They can see the impact, they can see the relevance, but to see the business viability of something, it's a whole different conversation. And like we were just speaking about, getting dance studios, getting paid choreographers, getting people deals. Those are the things that consistently, when we amplify them, will create the value. Then tomorrow, when the school says, you know what, let's put an hour a day for dance, it makes sense for parents, for all the stakeholders on the educational side to see that, okay, when we start, this is where it's going to end up.
Please, you name one asset. Think of the next one, though. I'm coming back to you. But let me just add on to this that football is played in almost every country.
Right.
But when football is played in Europe and, in Europe, or let's say in the UK, or is played in Italy, Spain, and such countries, the way it is captured, the way it's packaged for us to see it is beautiful. So that is like the work of the
Support
camera,
systems.
the camera crew, the television station, the broadcast, all those people doing it, the animator, all those people are playing a key role in how we see it.
Yeah.
And how we see it influences the businessman to want to put money in the
Exactly.
concert. So the same way, the way we capture the dance, the people that are capturing the dance should also be paid. We should also pay close attention to them, because then it doesn't look like, oh,
Look,
and
to your point,
that thing.
I watch a lot of World of Dance and all these other reality shows.
Yes.
Like, I'm a big Le Twins fan. I'm a big Jabberwockies. Like, back in the day when Jabberwockies were killing.
Wow, you are a dancer. You are a dancer.
Hey, bro, like, make a move. Like,
Take your time.
Look, like Jabberwockies, King Jazz. Like, I really they mess with dance. So I'm a big dance guy.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, unfortunately.
the accountant is here with us.
And
The dancer is here with
like
us.
he's saying, when there's this King Jazz World of Dance final that they did it like a Mortal Kombat thing, right? And it's not just dance anymore. It's like dance theater. They've taken the I Can Move to creating a collective content. I'll see if I can find that King Jazz video. Let production put it on for us, and you see what I'm talking about. I feel like that's the next step we need to be elevating to, because one, we can dance. 2-3 guys standing doing a small formation for the vibes and the likes is all nice. A few of you will get the big deals. You might be with the DWP or with another association, and something might come to the company, and by virtue of that, you get access. But the content creators also need to start thinking about how they can take the raw talent of I Can Dance to fit it into a bigger. They've been because of money. One Love and Mensa did. There've been dance movies. There's been Stomp the Yard. There's been we still don't have one.
No, we actually do.
Where?
We have.
I saw the billboard.
Is it something 16?
Yeah.
I have to check it out.
I saw the billboards in the top. But you get what I'm saying. Like Afronita, Endurance. All why do we have like a short dance film?
We have something. That will come up soon. I can't say too much about it, but you guys, I really I'm like, these guys are thinking the way we should think.
Crossed.
Fingers crossed, everything should work out well. But you guys are really seeing the future. These things do exist. There are a lot of concept videos, they call it, some of these dancers. So especially in America, because they have the logistics and stuff for it. So when it's Halloween, there's a Halloween themed video. So somebody did a whole Thriller, Michael Jackson Thriller, but it was Afrobeat version. Then there's there's Valentine's Day. You see all of them in their red and color. And even when movie releases are coming, because they want to be picked by Marvel Studios, an Avengers movie is coming. You see Thor, somebody in a Thor costume, Spider-Man costume. Everybody's standing there and they're dancing Afrobeats. And these are very, very creative things. There's this guy, Holy Boy, who does that a lot on Instagram. So, and he's gotten into spaces. He was in Chris Brown's Blow My Mind. He choreographed the whole video and a couple more people. So if we can really, like you're saying, make it more appealing and more attractive, especially in Ghana, we don't always have to be in the streets or the dance. There's so many things we can do in Ghana to, pimp it up a little bit.
Can we talk about
go controversially? Let me just say.
Before you go there, let me prepare the way for you.
It keeps slipping.
What? What do you say?
Okay. Maybe it's just me, but I want to say this. The appreciation of that kind of dance done by the Afro-Naters and the formation dancers, if I can use them back in the day, the school term, the formation dancers, the kind of, or the freestyle dancers we're seeing now, the kind of dance they do, could it be possible that the appreciation of such an art is not something that the masses seem to find interest in back home? Because the structures and the support systems are there. It's easy for you to see a dance movie of such sort in a Marvel movie or something like that. It's easy to appreciate it because when they are filming it, the lights, the angles, the camera, the aesthetics, all those things the props is nice.
Yeah.
So you can appreciate it. When Jabberwockies go on city, they're doing their thing. We've seen people try to mimic Jabberwockies back home, and it's a problem. If the lights go off, the hand lights go off. So that kind of dance, that kind of freestyle dancing. Is it possible that maybe it's not appreciated by the masses because that's not the kind of dance that we want to dance? I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
No, we need to bring it into our context.
Do you see where I'm going?
I know where you're going.
That kind of dance
Out
maybe
there
dance,
is cool, but out here we've not made it cool enough for us to be a part of it.
So if you go, let me just say, Oko party, typical party in Ghana, and you go and do that dance, you might look funny and overly aggressive. So is it that people?
That was the first thing with Azonto. It did look overly aggressive.
Yeah,
but
bro, the new ones are even worse. Do you see what they do with their eyes?
No, Azonto. Like it wasn't overly aggressive. It worked.
That one is spiritual.
It worked on a lot of things.
You are burning calories
in our subconscious. But if you go back to some of the dances and you watch some of them now, people may find it very difficult to dance those dances because it's freestyle. At the same time, it's also.
No. I don't agree.
So I'm saying that could that be a problem?
You don't need to dance. That's what I'm saying. That the choreography, right, is not just about the viewer's ability to mimic you. It's like when you're watching a martial arts film. We all leave the cinema thinking we are Thor and we are this thing. But you are not that guy. So your job is not, the choreography is to wow you. Yeah. Right? When you have Jackie Chan doing all these things, it's not that going to do some.
Do we understand that it's supposed to wow? Because that is what's
we can't determine that.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just trying to run my mind around.
Because some consumers will watch it and think, "What is
exactly.
this?"
Others also watch it and
think, it's because we have assumed that everybody should be able to do the dance. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. So when you go to an Eminem concert, do you want to go home and be Eminem?
No.
So that's the education. I like that you said that. So the choreography is to wow you. And then there are the challenges, right? So here's the thing. And that's one problem we're all having now, even in the dance industry. Because of TikTok, everybody thinks they can dance. Because of these easy challenges. So the well-trained choreographer is frustrated. Because
people can identify between
I'm telling you, somebody's making money.
So production's got it on. Yeah. Sorry.
You see, this, we need more of these.
You see my point?
Yeah, we do need more of these.
No, I've seen it.
But this was on a show? Was it a stage?
Yeah, this was World of Dance.
Oh,
this was their final. They won with this.
A DWP dancer won second place.
Wow.
This show?
This year. Recently, just before I left to come, his name is Scooby. He's part Jamaican.
Scooby?
Yeah, Scooby.
Oh, Scooby. SKOOBB.
SKOOBIE.
Yeah.
He's one of our
production
top.
can help us.
So you see, so Cyril, just let me. So you see, you are watching a very popular martial art game, a fighting game, I can say.
Being interpreted through dance. Executed as stage theater.
Yes. So you see how the three things have worked.
Yes,
so now for you to appreciate
look at this.
Yeah, good. I've seen it. For you to appreciate it,
Charlie.
there are a lot of things at play here.
Yeah.
At least one of the elements will still wow you, which is either you love
As we sit here, Jay, we are wowed, but me be.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
No, so I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That there are elements in it that have wowed me because I played more MK. You know, 1, 2, 3, up to whatever I play.
Exactly.
So at least one thing is working. If not the dance, I'm wowed by the MK in this thing. Maybe theater, someone is watching the whole stage craft and loves it. But let's bring it back home. That's where I'm saying that. Is it that we are maybe the rate at which we are appreciating it is not quick enough because of how we haven't been able to incorporate other things in there to interest somebody.
Yes, I agree with you.
So that's it. So,
we need to elevate our choreography. That's what I said.
Yeah, we need to do that. And also, you're right. I believe that, like, generally, I ask myself, how many pundits are there in anything in Ghana? The sports pundits is usually just the media people, right? There's not like many, like, even when people are talking about sports, I don't hear too much stats. Like, if you're watching an average American basketball game, it's like they're counting this person's shots. Like, literally, there's someone who counts, this is 75th shot, like they give you all the stats and everything. People are nerdy about it, right? And whenever I watch this show, like on Facebook or on YouTube, I see how Cyril will give history. You give history of something. You guys will talk about how things. There was this time you were talking about how there's a certain reverb they leave in, etc. So I was like, hey, these guys actually like they're here. And how many
of them lies?
You know, but you see, how many of our people like actually get involved with these things? So I think a lot of education is needed. That was going to be my second thing. If I had money to build things like education, I really think we should find a way to educate as many people as possible. One of the visions and goals I have, like even for our people like Lloyd, Afrobeats, is that they'll become professors in Harvard or in like Berkeley. You know, UCLA, Berkeley, where they have the dance section, they are teaching Afrobeats because Dance God Lloyd has built a portfolio for himself, and he actually teaches international people when they come here. Why wouldn't he just have his own
class or course?
You know what I'm saying? Or course in school. There's a rapper who recently started teaching in Harvard. I forgot what his name is. But yeah, he has a course where he's teaching like lyrical patterns or something like that in Harvard. Wow. If we can do stuff like this, starting from Ghana, where we are teaching and allowing there to be like, hey, yo, I want to learn to go and teach dancing one day. Maybe I'll be picked somewhere else.
How are we even looking at Legon? Do people do the dances?
I was just going to ask, like, instead of just jumping straight to Harvard, let's start from Ghana.
Exactly.
Are there conversations to have them? Because then there's the School of Performing Arts, right? Let's use University of Ghana as an example.
What do
you say? It's not dontology.
No, I'm saying
please. See, there are so many people from the School of Performing Arts like me.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey. Hello.
Who are very instrumental in society. Yes. But let's just look at starting from Ghana, starting even from, crèche or because there are younger people who you see are interested in dance. They need the guidance. They need people to teach them. So rather than, go big or go home, yes, but rather than do that, why not start from home, right? Are there those conversations happening?
Believe it or not, right? In almost every American college I've been to, there's one African drummer who's teaching.
Right.
And I know these people learned from Ghana or from other places. They literally come in exchange programs. That's why you see most of the international students kind of do that when they come here. We don't hear about it. It's like how you can be there and say, oh, Ghanaians are not appreciating where like doesn't mean she's not doing huge shows and concerts outside there. There are people who have left the department. I've actually taken a class there before, and there's this, I forgot his name, but he's a dancer who gave us the history, like he was very nerdy about it, the history of Azonto and how things started from Jamestown and other places in Accra. And I was like, wow, this is a professor who's teaching what, if we can do that, I think it will help us. There are people doing that in Europe. We just don't know them. There's these jazz festivals that have drummers come sit on stage, they get their $3,000 to $5,000 and they're out to the next city. I've seen a lot of them. I co-manage a venue at the Rochester Jazz Festival, and I see the impact these guys have. People are willing to pay to just sit down and watch. But then at the end of it all, one thing we shouldn't let it go over our head is that entertainment is a luxury in some economies, not in Africa. It really isn't a luxury for us. I don't know how many
guys... Is there a reason you say that?
It comes back to the government, and the economy of the country. Like I've literally watched retired people just when I go to these jazz festivals, a lot of them are retirees, right? They're sitting there, they come with their wives, because we have, as a venue manager, you have to make sure we have
If we could come closer to them.
we have to make sure we have the handicap, facilities and everything ready for them. See, a lot of these old people come and sit down retired, and then they are watching jazz. They can tell you everything about this instrument and all. But I'm like, I don't see that in Ghana. How many people are even getting their pension paid? You get where I'm coming from, So it's like it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that you realize that it's a luxury. I have a friend who has a master's in flute, and she's touring and making money from it. I don't think a Ghanaian would want to do that here in Ghana, So it's the fact that entertainment is not a luxury for us. So I would understand why we're not very, very interested in a lot of these things. But if we can start showing the money, start seeing what people like Lloyd and Co are doing, it might attract people to it.
Let me again chip this in. Here I go again. To chip this in. First play devil's advocate for leadership, and then play devil's advocate for creative arts. For the creative arts, I'd say that one of the things, I'm a visual arts student, and I stand strong for visual arts students. I mean, if there was a visual arts conglomerate or an association, I'd be president. And I'd say that I wish that the curriculum would actually be redesigned to encourage, not right from nursery school, I can actually let certain visual art courses be my elective courses, and then pay less attention to some other areas, some other courses, so that right from infancy, when my interest is identified, I stick to that path, and then hope that when I finish school, then now the support systems will be in place to hold me. Also, so that's my wish list for the creative arts space. But also for leadership, I can imagine, and I keep saying this, that I can imagine when you sit at the helm of affairs and you look at the priority list, So let's say, as we speak now, Ghana has gone to IMF for a loan of 3 billion. It's a loan, and people keep forgetting. I pity the next president. And I pity the next president after that, because you can't pay 3 billion in 4 years. It will be very difficult for you. I don't even think if they shed it for 4 years for you, Charlie, that means every year you're paying like some. Seriously, you want to calculate for me? Accountant.
Oh, no, it's okay.
You can't pay that in 4 years. So when you come into power, the priority list, definitely, you look at the number of persons benefiting from the creative arts industry as compared to maybe the crisis in the health industry, the crisis in infrastructure and all those other areas, the economy, the numbers, and then you are torn between you may want to, but should you also getting ready, using your first 2 years to develop and the next 2 years to campaign? You look at the ones that the people need most, and you ask yourself that if I build the creative arts industry, how many people will I get out of that place that would influence my next vote? As compared to if I build a health industry or I build the roads, how? So then we are torn in a space where if we don't take time, then for the next 20 years to come, creative arts will not be on the radar.
The onus is on us to answer that question. I think if we start reaching all possibilities in various creative sectors, we open up the visibility for people to know what is possible. Now it's just dance. If you ask the average Ghanaian or your average lawmaker about dance, they'll tell you they see it on TikTok, music videos, maybe at church, parties, or my small niece can really dance. Case closed. But when you go into a production, you do like what we just saw, and there's stagecraft, there's fashion, there's cinematography, there's animation. There's so many things. So the one dance the person they come do has employed
a lot of
50
people.
Other people, and it's clear and consistent. Then now when an educator, a policymaker looks at dance, they'll be like, the dance you're coming to dance, all these people came with you. Then they get it. But now we are just so fixated on the end result that we never show or speak about the back end. So they don't know.
Star Beer, a corporate body spent through an investment into those. Was it Star Beer?
Yeah,
Embassy Club Gardens.
Embassy
Club Gardens.
And guess what? What do we do to ourselves? Many years down the line, when we put those videos up, what do?
We're laughing.
We ridicule it.
We ridicule it.
Yeah, let me quickly say something.
Contestant number 3 from Swedru. He's a carpenter.
When he
Salvador.
When he came on stage to present an award on the VGMA night, he says something, I quote, he says, "Good morning, Ghana. You all know I'm a dancer, right? back in the 80s, when there was music, there was dance. And I know back in the days when they were doing music awards, they awarded the dancers as well. And this was
Gunshots.
in the 80s. For those of you who don't know, Ajito Sowa is actually the Malibu World Dance Champion winner in 1986. So just in case you don't know what's happening. And he says, I remember I received awards like Best Choreographer, Best Dancer, Best Group. And presently we have guys like Dance God Lloyd, Incredible Ziggy, Afronita, and Militants. I mean, we need to help them too. Give them something, please. So next time, let's make room for them too, he added. This is exactly what we are saying.
Yeah.
That we don't even have enablers anymore. We don't have the people that would give the people, the dancers, a reason to keep going.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Afronita just graduated from Wesley Girls, if I'm not mistaken. If she did not have the backing of her mother, who has been very instrumental in her push,
That would have been it.
she probably would have sat down, or Leah, would have lost, an amazing, even Dance God Lloyd, someone who wanted to be a footballer. He could not fulfill his football dream, decided to go into
Use the
dancing.
leg for something else.
Right? We wouldn't have been celebrating him when Beyonce came home. Do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes, yes, the music is there, but the dance, like I just said, the music goes with the dance.
So let me put a difficult one too. So is this in all this, it may not happen in your era, in your time and generation. Is it worth it?
It is, totally. Let's look at Kwame Nkrumah. He had a whole budget for the creative industry way back then. When he had his bands, people were sent out to go and learn and stuff like that. I believe that it should still be on the priority list. In America, I see it. No matter how hard it is for America, they would definitely have a night where the president is ridiculed and he makes fun of people and we bring comedians to it. Exactly. There's always that creativity part of it. There's a reason why Hollywood is one of America's biggest power tools to convince the world that, hey, we're powerful. We will change the narrative from Hollywood. And you wouldn't even realize it. Subconsciously, you're scared of this country because they've showed you part of what they can do to other countries. Ghana can have that narrative.
America saves the world every time.
You know where I'm coming from. Yeah, I don't see why movies like Black Panther were shot outside, for the most part. I believe that those things should have been created from within and sent outside. Right? It's because they might be changing. So I'll tell you something. Right? There's a debate. Marvel, we'll get into the Marvel nerd zone right now. But there's the first part where T'Challa kills his cousin. A Killmonger. There's a whole debate about, are they trying to say this is the African versus the diaspora? Because we do have that tension, and then it became a whole big thing. And these stay woke people they are heavily against us Africans. Like they're like, yeah, that's what you guys do to us all the time, blah blah. Like, yo, I wish that was never in the story. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's somebody sitting there who's creating that, but I do believe that we should get more into it. It might not look like something that should be on top of the priority list, but it should definitely be there, believe it or not. Like, look at all you intelligent people sitting here right now. Like,
Except one.
in the next few years, God knows where you guys will be. You guys will be,
Amen.
And it could be because dance took the entertainment industry out of Africa. We're the fastest growing population. Eventually, there'll be more black people on earth than anywhere else. And that's why most of these big companies are trying to come to Africa and all that, because they know we are going to have the buying power at some point, and we are going to be the ones to answer certain things. Right?
Gold for oil.
Exactly.
No more dollar for oil.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, instead of us to be worrying about our gold, obviously, which we can't account for these days, we have tangible products to export, and dance is one of them.
Yeah, we have tangible products to export. We have tangiple products to export. We have tangible products to export. Please ask your question, tangible products.
Who will be exported soon? I mean, on the surface, how it looks like dance, is going beyond the borders of Ghana, where now we are seeing parents support their children, where the children are more vocal about, I want to be a dancer and stick to it, where dancers are earning more than they were probably earning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, right? On the surface, it's looking good. But what is that thing that we can do to create more impact and then positioning first and then impact, right? Because then if we don't uphold it and do whatever we have to do to protect it, to me, what I'm seeing is in the next 5, 10 years, it will go back to people saying that, oh, this person is just a dancer, and then that's it, right?
So I like that. Most of these dancers you would see are very educated people. Dance Lord went to Prosec with me, right? Very educated, smart guy. Afronita wants to be a financial controller. She's super smart. We have a lot of them. Endurance used to sell gas at a filling station who came to Accra, like the California dream, came to Accra and turned her life around. Like, we have different stories, different people, different narratives. Over there in the US, we have nurses, medical students, like somebody who's supposed to be my boss, an IT project manager who's, dancing and all of that. The kind of people dancing now are people of substance, excuse my language, we say in those days, all they do is dance. No, these are other people like working in serious professions that want to dance. So let you know that we can do it, right? So now dance is not seen only as a career too. It's just be seen as a hobby, which is the truth. We tell these dancers you're not going to dance forever, so all this money you're making, start investing, start thinking about starting a clothing line, start looking for partnerships.
And exit plan.
Anytime you're dancing, if there's a Nike deal, go for it. Right, reach out for all these things. Let's see where we can go. Like, again, one thing that I'm seeing the future in dance is having an Afro-centric fitness program that is sold abroad. So, like, the Zumba, which is a fitness, having a little bit of Latin American roots, if you can have an Afrocentric thing like that, having it there in the United States. So, and Hurricane, as a fitness guy, is already doing that, where he's using Afrobeats songs in his class. He's using some simple Azonto moves in choreographies that is helping ladies who want to lose weight. And he's already started stuff like that. I see a future space in that. Because why are these Africans so fit? We can tell them it's because we dance a lot at home. If it's a good packaging, it's a good packaging deal. So those are some of the things. We need to, like you said, those structures, education, building more dance studios or facilities that will house these events. And like you said, even the third one was to have more logistics to support. Like, if we could help the production houses, if we could have people like you keep on talking about dance and even get nerdy about it, people are going to be like, wow, this is bigger than just dancing on stage. Like he said, there's a whole production.
Okay, Jay, I wanted to ask, in all of this, right, I'm looking at how these movements, have activated the Ghanaian music products even further. Because obviously you need music to dance, right? So how is it like out there? Is it that we are not producing enough dance songs to have the songs on rotation, or for such things you need to have like a cocktail of of both?
So I'll start with this. I'm an independent artist considered, right, in the United States. So I had this third party audit my music. They sent me a list of questions, and one of the questions they asked me, what's your marketing strategy? Okay. Typical Ghanaian boy, I don't get right, marketing strategy. So I looked at it and I was like, no. I went back, I was like, I don't know what to put here. And they're like, okay, we've seen your Instagram, you use a lot of dance videos. Do you know that's a marketing strategy? I was like, yeah, that's true. It's like, that's the one thing that has carried most of your songs out. So they told me to go back and put dancing, or a dance academy that supports my music over there. And that's true. I didn't invest as much into marketing or digital marketing because I didn't understand. I wanted to do it on my own. But seeing that was a marketing tool alone gave me that, okay, this is actually something people can make money from. So Sugarcane blew up. My head, go for weddings. Yes, they can't do all the Afronita moves, but you see families coming together trying to do this and all that. Those very easy ones. So dance will forever be, I always say, dancers are the foot soldiers of Afrobeats. They send Afrobeats into the unknown, like the different places. So very soon, with Yofi doing this, all of that, I don't see why Gaz Miller's songs won't start trending in Russia right away. You know what I'm saying? I don't see why. Look, Sweetie Darling, have you hear it on TikTok?
It came back again last year.
Easy. These are old songs, and they're all coming back. Yeah.
Are you saying that whilst we sit here and we worry about investment and money, and we need push, we actually have a vehicle that can make it easy for us, right?
Easy.
And that is dance.
Easy.
So we need to now focus on the Afronitas, the Yofis and stuff like that. Find some budget for them to drive our songs whilst we wait for the big labels to come.
Exactly. And that's the easiest way. That's one of the fastest ways to get visibility, especially if your song is good. And these dancers. So for me, what we do is when we, I forgot the name of the song. Who they eat. I say who they eat.
I'm asking for a friend.
What DWP did is we went to the studio of the artist and we had him play all his songs. And then the dancers gravitated towards that one. He wanted us to promote another song. But they're like, this is the song we want because Like it makes us feel
move to
good, and that's what blew up.
The
And
artists
that-
didn't even know that.
Exactly.
That was submitted a
You
different
can't come
song.
from exactly. It's the same story you hear with "You Go Kill Me." They didn't really expect it to go that far.
Right.
But dancers, when they feel it's spiritual, like when I work with dancers, they are very. The way they think is very different. They're very interesting people, and it's all spiritual for them. So if we can get these things, like don't write songs just to say you want to write a dance song. Work with dancers. Sometimes in my studio, I get my dancer friends in there. We're recording. Like when I'm going to release a dance track, and so far I've been very consistent with my dance songs. They've gone places I've not even stepped for that.
Wow.
And and I don't even have to show face.
That's an interesting metric.
You know.
Like that. Well, our time is up, but my last question would be the fashion for dancers. I've been looking at it critically. It's like either you have to be gym wear look like, or gym wear look like, or sporty. Yeah.
Or 90s.
Yeah.
90s.
I was just trying to get my whole creative juices on and go like, okay, if I was to localize this a bit more, what would it be? Just because of accessibility of some of these lovely fashionable outfits.
To be false. As local as it can be false. Let's get your
Charlie,
food.
You start with foods, and later when you make money, you buy Chris Brown's cakes and stuff. Yeah.
and you know, Charlie, along the coastline, look, the coastline of Ghana, especially Accra, the Ghans, we
Serious.
owe them a lot of apologies. The Ghans.
Serious.
When the Ghans were dancing at the beach with the basins and all those things, doing some of those things, you know, the kids were doing these marvelous things. You can imagine, you know, we owe the FTY. I've seen it. FTY. Sorry, free the youth.
We need to
shouts
free
going
them.
out.
Give them the opportunity. Yes.
Anyway, our time is up. We have to get going. Our producer really wants to eat while
Sure.
so she doesn't want
wants
to
to
go
get out of
on the show. But thank you very much, Kate.
Thank
It's been
you.
good
Thank
having
you
this.
all so much.
Yeah, this convo with you. We're looking forward to the future of DWP and how it's gonna impact, pave the way for us, so that my next visa, maybe
Oh, easy. But you guys have that dance class.
Cyril,
I'm serious. Oh, I told you,
ready.
we will
We'll discuss the impact of the music dance class off air. We out.